Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the offices of Money Club Entertainment. I am the founder and current CEO of Money Club Entertainment. My name is Jason Michael Johnson, but you can also refer to me as J Money. Now, earlier today, there are probably some questions about my involvement at a recent orgy. I will neither confirm nor deny any of those statements. And I will probably not comment on any of those without my lord present. So, I will not get to this, but there is a great matter that happened earlier today. We actually have reports. There's been reports earlier this morning that the state of Pennsylvania has stopped counting their ballots. And earlier today, they have made the decision of awarding the state of Pennsylvania in its 20 electoral votes to Joseph R. Biden Jr. As a result, before that time, Mr. Biden actually had 253 electoral votes over Mr. Trump's 213. The result of the state of Pennsylvania making that decision gave Mr. Biden a total of 273 electoral votes, which ended up breaking his threshold. As a result of that decision, Mr. Joseph R. Biden has now been elected as the president-elect of the United States. On the time he is inaugurated on January the 22nd, I believe, he will be now the 46th President of the United States. His roommate, Ms. Kamala Harris, will be the first woman and also the first black woman to be the Vice President of the United States. Now, I know that in this time there has been a great divide these past 4 years, especially a lot of speakers from a lot of people on the left and the right, and the big thing is the right. You have been, for the past 4 years, when Mr. Trump was elected, you were very vocal. You were very vocal on saying to a lot of people, hey, Trump is your president, and if you don't like it, you can leave this country, and all these other things. Well, these past 4 years, you guys the tables have now turned for you. And I say to you, Trump supporters, from your Twitters that had literally only have 2 followers with practically just that regular ass egg, the default profile photo, and practically just love saying all these things about Trump is the greatest and all y'all can suck it and all these things. And up to the people who are in the White House right now who actually have supported him. I say to you now, and peacefully forever, it is time for y'all to get the fuck out of here! Woo! That's right, y'all got 69 days, bitches! You can now leave! Y'all can get the fuck out of here! Y'all need to go. Time for y'all go. Let's see, Miss Tommy, let's say, you can follow the advice of Miss Tommy Lauren herself. She said on July 5th of 2020 that you can move. There are 200 other countries here. You can move anywhere else. You don't have to live here. Well, guess what? Y'all can go too. Y'all can take your asses out of here. You can go to either A, Canada, B, Mexico, or any other country that will probably take your dumb asses. And y'all can live there for the rest of your lives and never come back. To the Wall Street executives, guess what? Get ready to see your taxes get cut like a motherfucker. Get ready to see your taxes be raised like a motherfucker. Because y'all about to get ready to pay up, boy. To pay up, y'all. I say this to all the conservative church leaders. I say this, I would love to hear your political opinions more. Because I would literally love to hear it because I'm probably sure I might probably tax y'all asses too. So, let's see, we got Tom Lauren, your ass can go. Let's see, Miss Kayla Bennett, Miss the Gun Girl. Guess what? Your dumbass can go too. I recommend for you New Zealand. But wait, I forget. They banned assault-style weapons 3 years ago. You have probably a bunch of assault weapons. Well, guess what? I guess they're going to be taking that from you. So I guess you're just going to be just a regular-ass girl who probably is just pretty much has a boring-ass podcast now. Good luck with podcasting career, ma'am. Let's see. Next, Jared Kushner, vodka, all Donald Trump Jr. Y'all family, you can now go. Can get the fuck up out of here too. Alright, but I say you guys can go from the White House to the big house, which is the penitentiary, because y'all about to go to jail. Y'all about to go to jail. Melania, I will say this to Melania Trump, I already know you are probably ready with the divorce papers in hand right now, ready to go, and ready to get full custody of little Baron Trump. I wish you guys the best of luck in that scenario. Best of luck in your scenario, in your future. But I already know you ain't safe. You're about to be gone too. Mr. Mike Pence, your ass can either go back to Indiana and get COVID like all 164 of their dumbasses too. With your boy Eric Holcomb and your brother, I think, or probably your brother, who's probably the Attorney General now. So, good luck. Have fun in Indiana. Do whatever you're going to live by. Do whatever you want to do with conversion therapy or whatever. So, you can take your crazy ass too. Now, I say to Mr. Donald Trump, you are now gone. You are no longer president. I will say this to you. I heartily recommend, whenever you are ready to speak about this, I hope you concede and realize you cannot take this to court. You are not going to be able to take it to court. You can try to do any legal challenge you want. At the end of the day, everything's upheld and is true. Nothing has been frauded. There is no election fraud. There is no anything. I highly recommend you to get the fuck out of here. And I say, highly recommend you guys go to jail. All the white supremacists, all those free percenters, all those militiamen who wants to overthrow the government, I highly recommend you try. And I think the U.S. military would love to have a word with you. Now, you think war is like Call of Duty? Well, here's the difference between Call of Duty and actual war. You see, in Call of Duty, you can respawn. In real war, there's no respawn points. Okay? I also want to say this. You see, Dragon Balls, 7 of these things, these 7 wish granting balls that can bring you back to life, guess what? They don't exist either. They ain't gonna be around to help you all out. There ain't no Senzu Beans. There is no Pokemon Center. Nursery ain't around. No, your ass will die. Yes, your ass is going to die. So, I'm going to say, to all of y'all, here's one of the options. Either A, you can accept the fact that Mr. Biden, Joseph Biden, is the President of the United States, Ms. Kamala Harris is the Vice President of the United States, and you can stay here and deal with it. Or B, you can take your bags, take your guns, take everything you own, and get the fuck up out of here now. Whew. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and go now. I'm actually pretty dressed for this occasion, actually. I am actually about to head on to a nice dinner, to a nice little shindig that Elon Musk is actually hosting. I heard he ended up creating a 1-to-1 replica of Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z, and I hear he is auctioning this robot off. And I actually want to get there on time before the auction begins, because I would love to place a bid on this beauty. So, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and head on out now. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. You guys have a good day. Oh wait. I forgot one more thing to all of the... I know there's probably some Trump supporters that might be offended. Some of them might have some anal fissures because you might be butthurt over this over this video. And I just want to say this to you, and this is a little message, and I want you guys to get close for this one. I want you to definitely get very, very close to this one. Okay? I appreciate it if you guys did watch this video, and if you are offended, you think Trump is still your president until this inauguration and all these things, and MAGA and all this BS, all I can say is to you guys is simply, hold my nuggets and suck my dick! Alright, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Saturday, well, it's actually now Sunday, November the 8th. I should say it's kind of late. This is a very late one. Welcome to episode number 17, I believe. Am I correct on that date? Is this episode 17? We are at episode 17. Yes, we are. Episode number 17 of the J Money Talks podcast. I am your host, Mr. Jason Michael Johnson, also known as J Money. We are about to begin we got a great episode for you guys. Opening. Now, the opening, you're probably going to find it on the YouTube. Probably on the YouTube. But if you're listening to this podcast through SoundCloud, you will be seeing the episode. You will see this opening skit that I decided to do, which will be on the YouTube channel, which will be not just, it will be on its own separate video on the YouTube channel, but it would also be a video on the, it'll also be a video we'll put on Instagram, and my personal Instagram, and probably my Facebook. And let's say if you are a Trump, it is pretty much a little skit I decided to do. It involves pretty much the results of what happened in this election. This will be something we will probably talk about in very briefly. But before we begin, let's begin with one big thing that happened today. Yours truly, on Friday, November 6th, have now turned 24 years of age. I am now 24 years old. I am now in my Kobe Bryant year now, so I am feeling pretty good. I had a good birthday. Pretty much started off with pretty much me finishing up work for the night. I ended up having the whole day off, so as soon as I got done with work, first thing I decided to do was have a little tequila, some of that Terramana tequila, the People's tequila, the Rocks tequila. Great. It actually tastes pretty good. I actually ain't gonna lie. It tastes pretty good. Straight up, it will put some hair on your chest. Put some hair on your chest. And I had some of that, a couple glasses of that. Also had some champagne. So let's just say I had a little fun for myself. Watched some Dragon Ball Super by myself. Had some candy. Enjoyed myself. Slept in a good amount. And then for the birthday, decided to go out with, I ended up doing stuff by simply going to the gym with family, with my pops, which I normally do. This one had a fun, very intense workout session. Luckily enough, a friend hosted a party, so I hung out with me and my boys, and we had a good time. It was actually packed. But it was by midnight, 1-ish, it was 40 people in this one house party. It was crazy, nuts, and it was a good time. I had a good time hanging out with friends. We all chilled, had some drinks, smoked some weed. Did I ever hook up with any girls there? Nope. I ain't gonna say it. I would say me, and at least there were some girls that knew me. At least we all hung out, talked, and didn't do much. I did not feel, let's say, liquor didn't give me full confidence. Let's just say drunk. I figured out drunk me, as the liquor began to hit. Drunk me is kind of got that Ric Flair, let's say I kind of acted like thought I was gonna pull up and be like Slick Rick. Like I was like, I'm talking to Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, limousine riding, jet flying, kids stealing, wheeling. I was. Let's just say this. If you want to know how the day went, as soon as I was done with workout, I ended up going have a birthday dinner with my dad at Hooters. Yes, Hooters, and let's just say it was fun. We talking. We had a great meal. It was actually some people who actually heard it was my birthday, and they was like, "Hey, why don't we do like buy you guys a drink?" And I was like, I actually had a couple of Blue Moons, like short Blue Moon drafts, and after that they actually bought me like a tall Blue Moon draft and a shot for me. So we ended up doing a shot together. The shot I was asking was tequila, but the bartender ended up serving all of us the Fireball cinnamon whiskey, which I have had a bad memory of Fireball. And actually, I told the story to my father about this a few years ago. This is this is a good story. Let's just say it was Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl 52. I honestly did not want to see the Patriots nor the Eagles win this thing. I didn't care for either team. So this is like so I decided like I'm gonna just stream my do a Twitch stream back in do a Twitch stream. This is actually when I was doing Twitch streams early 2018, and I think I don't know if I have a full stream up. I think I might have a full stream up. You can go to the J Money Gaming channel. You can search the stream. Let's just say I decided to play Street Fighter 2 Arcade with DJ, and with DJ, who is actually, I forgot, is a charge character. So let's say I played a charge character on arcade run through, and I decided, hey, every loss that happens, I'm gonna take a shot. So let's just say after a couple losses, I end up drinking. Next thing I know, I ended up drinking half a bottle of a Fireball whiskey. And it's not like a big, before you think it's like a huge ass bottle. It's like one of those medium-sized bottles you can get like for $15-20 in some cases. And it was a decent sized bottle. Let's say I ended up drinking half of that bottle, and let's just say I was drunk. So let's say if you want to know how bad it was, let's say this. In my first couple months of drinking, I learned three things. There's three things. There's three unwritten rules of drinking, and it's basically good rules. Number one, don't mix your light liquors with your dark liquors. Don't do that. Number two, liquor before beer. Don't go beer before liquor, because you don't want to go there. And third and finally, never drink on an empty stomach. Let me tell you, this is what happened. I drank on an empty stomach, and then when I ordered pizza late at night, ate that, tried to absorb for some of this alcohol, and this is what happened at next morning. Let's just say that pizza came out, both ends, because I ended up vomiting. Some of it is actually some of it was on like the wall and the floor and parts of this floor here, which has now probably been cleaned up. In a bathroom, I was messed up. I didn't tell my dad or anyone about it. Now, the only person who knew about the Fireball was my sister. She's the only one who knew about the liquor. So I never told my dad about it for a while, until like I was like 24, and let's just say, and this is why the alcohol started hitting. So let's say the alcohol started hitting. So I ended up having that shot of Fireball. And then I realized, oh shit, this is fucking Fireball. And I'm like thinking, I was like, oh god, I gotta make sure I chase this bitch down as soon as possible. I already had beer and food, so I'm thinking the food would help a little bit, but I knew that liquor, but beer, I had beer before liquor, so I'm like, okay, I just had this shot, and I'm like, I gotta chase this bitch down. So how am I gonna chase it down? So I had this tall ass drink, and I chugged the fuck down on this bitch. Let's just say I was chugging. I was like, I was chugging that bitch. This was a tall draft. It was like this tall Stein, and it was a big boy. So I was like, so let's just say I was handling my business, taking that beer down. So, yeah, it was what happened. That was like my pregame, and let's say I drunkenly was feeling himself too much. Let's just say I got the group chat. I'll probably do a screenshot or something because this is me. I texted this late last night. I just said, I already know what phrase like a 8:26 because I was pretty much about to hop in the shower, get cleaned up, and get ready. And then later on, I end up saying next hour, I just end up saying, like, I don't know why I went. I told my friends in the group chat, let's just say drunk me is about to come in like the nature boy. The Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time keeping these alligators down. And I just like, woo! Let's just say, my other friends just knew, like, it was just like, what the fuck, and everyone's just laughing at this, because they just, like, don't know what is going on, like, they just knew drunk me is about to have a time of his life, because honestly, I have not been out at all, like, in quarantine. I have not tried to go out. I'm like, I was like, at this point, I'm like, look, I'm turning 24. I'm going out. If I'm catching something, I'm like, you know what? If I catch something, I'm like, you know what? I want to have it catch it while I'm partying for my birthday. I want to enjoy. Like, that is how I want it to be. So, I was like, so it was a good party. Let's just say, it was packed in this house, and it was like, this one we were like super far out. It was like way out in the boonies pretty much, and I was having like, it was a lot of let's just say I had a good amount of tequila, some vodka, ended up trying Henny for the first time, like Henny and Coke. So let's just say I had a good ass night. Let's just say it was a good night. Hung out with friends, chilling, vibing, relaxing. Hung out till 2. After 2, the party practically ended. Everyone went home. Everyone probably found a shorty and probably took them back to their place or her place and kind of smashed it out. I'm not sure. I pretty much took an Uber home and got back by like 3 a.m. and your boy Pat, I got into my underwear and passed the fuck out. So let's just say that. So it was a good night. It was a good night. I had a good time, and I was like in myself like, yeah, it just hit me like, yep, this is how I would love to come enter that Kobe year by getting hammered and pretty much getting hammered, just getting smashed. So I was like, it was fun, man. I was having a good time. So, I think that was a good thing. So I guess now we gotta go into the big news. So, it's finally happened. Joe Biden is now elected to be the president of the United States. Trump is gone. And the question is now, is he willing to give it up now? And is he willing now to leave on schedule? That's the question now. Well,
Biden humbly accepted this victory. Trump, on the other hand, his thought process is pretty much, we ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. We can't be stopped now. It's president for life. He's like, he said that a while back beforehand. Now, as the results come in, it looks like he's saying, I ain't giving up shit. So this is a big question now. Are we dealing with Are we gonna have a president that is willing not to give up anything? So that's gonna be the big question. Will we not see a president who's willing to give up the throne? And that is a big question. So, ever in that, I feel pretty good. I'm my opinion about the whole thing with Biden. I will say this: a lot of things is, in politics, political wise, do I feel like, am I happy that Biden won? Not really. I didn't think Biden or Kamala being the leaders, I don't really trust them really at first, but I was like, look, I rather have, I guess, 4 years of Biden and Kamala than 4 years of Trump. I've practically said it. Same thing about the whole thing about McGrath. I don't support her really, but I rather have 6 years of her than 6 years of McConnell. And we'll get to that in a couple of minutes, because once again, pretty much, let's just say that's something that's got me in a mood, and I can just say my opinion about that, especially to people who do not live here in the state of Kentucky, saying we need to get rid of, that Kentucky needs to get rid of Mitch McConnell. You guys know you have to. And I got some choice words for those people. Okay? I've got some choice words for them, and I'll hold on to it for a minute. But to me, I think the whole country's just celebrating the fact that Trump is done. And my thing is that to me, I say this, we gotta, stop with the identity politics. We cannot just stop, we gotta stop with the whole thing about, listen, I don't like this guy, I'm not gonna listen to you, fuck you. I say we gotta stop voting for people just because of popularity. We need to start trying to vote for people who has the best interest in mind. Vote for policy, not by the identity. And that's the big question. There is putting the policy up. And if fair policy works, does not match what the people want, then that person has to go and has to be replaced by someone who is going to listen to put those policies in place. Whether it is someone on the left or someone on the right or someone on the third party, which I think at this point, some third party, again, especially libertarians, are probably at this point getting ready to start taking over a bit more. And I think probably Kentucky, especially here in Kentucky, I think libertarian, you might be the party that's stepping up now, because once again, Democrats, the Democratic Party, remember the Democratic establishment. Now this whole thing about the McGrath thing. Amy McGrath losing to Mitch McConnell, and in the way she lost was something I just knew was going to happen, because I kind of said this was going to happen. She is going to get fucking rammed by McConnell, and well, guess what? She did, because I just knew at that point, listen, you are not, it's hard, Louisville won't matter, and Lexington won't matter. If you look at the exact map of Kentucky, when they were voting for her, when the Senate race, Louisville wasn't going to matter, and Lexington wasn't going to matter. We were voting blue no matter who. You gotta convince all the counties around them and everyone else outside of that. You gotta focus on rural Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, the coal communities, the farmers, all of those people. And if you can't, you gotta try to work with them and see you can convince them to side with you. Yeah, here's the thing. If you blue, here's the thing about Kentucky. They support blue when it comes to Kentucky, not blue when it comes to Democrats. And that's something about it is people in this country, who live in this country and doesn't live in this state. I'm saying this right now. You're wondering, why can't this state get rid of this man? All I'm going to say is this. This state practically pretty much has Stockholm Syndrome with the Republican Party. We're practically this abused ass wife who is getting fucked over a ton, but we somehow can get off of Mitch McConnell's essence. The dude's dick is somehow got us in a goddamn spell. It's a drug. Okay? And anytime you guys want to bring shit up, we are ready to, and the entire state is ready to defend him. Like, oh, come on, he's not that bad of a guy. And I'm like, trust me. It's like, doesn't he sound like that one? I understand. You know, there's an abusive girl that's being with a douchebag, a guy who's a douchebag, probably abuses her, treats her like shit, and and you call him out on it, and they just like, oh, he's not that bad of a guy. Oh, that didn't really happen. He didn't punch me. I just fell down the stairs. Look, I'm just saying this. If you really want to change some shit, if you really want to get the Democratic Party to raise up, listen to the Democratic establishment. I am going to say this. To me, I say the Kentucky Democratic Party, you need to, change your idea of what can we do to get people to flip this state. You gotta have to work something out. You gotta do some kind of soul searching, okay, about what the party is in these districts and stuff in order to change shit. And especially if you're someone who's from the DNC, all I'm telling you is some of y'all people in the DNC who are super deep in there, all I'm going to tell you is this. You got to do one of two things. If you really want to get rid of McConnell 6 years from now, all I'm telling you is just this. Option 1, invest your businesses here in the state. Bring business here, bring more jobs here. Help with funding education in this state. Help with funding education in the state and education in the state. That's option 1. Or option 2, and this is a bigger one, and this is a big commitment, alright? Fucking move here. Fucking move here. And I'm not saying you move to Louisville and Lexington. We're covered. We don't need any of y'all here. We already got enough people in the Highlands and Lake Forest, okay, to deal with, alright? We got enough. We're talking about you guys moving into Shelby County. We're talking about you moving to Oldham County. We're talking about living in the deep parts of Kentucky. People who are super, super Republican. Super red. If you can live in that place and somehow change that county to blue, good fucking luck. I wish you all the best of luck there. I definitely wish you the best of luck. But till then, if you don't want to commit to either option A or B, here's option C. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Shut the fuck up. Okay? Now, one of the big things is, in terms of this election, one big thing is that there's one big winner out of the whole thing, and that is legal weed. Because 5 new states have decided to wake the fuck up and realize that weed is not that bad. And especially this, I think this is one of the few southern states that finally cracked under pressure. Mississippi, they legalized legalized medical marijuana. A few other places, I see Arizona legalized marijuana, and Arizona legalized marijuana recreationally, and a couple other places. I forget what other states did, but one big one is Oregon said, you know what? We're not going to legalize just weed and mushrooms or LSD and some of the psychedelics. We're going to legalize all the drugs. Let's just say this. All drugs. That's right. You could go there for coke. You can do cocaine, meth, heroin, all the crazy drugs, and not go to jail for them. So, let's say this. If you're a crackhead and you want to smoke your crack and not be judged or go to jail or get arrested all the time, move to Oregon now. You can move to Oregon now. Enjoy. So, yeah. So yeah, that was a big thing. So that's one of the big things about this whole election thing. I'm not too crazy over it, but I think this whole thing is now we should not vote on identity now. You gotta vote for policy, and you need to make sure that the candidate you have is going to be you. If you're going to have a candidate that follows the policy of the people, and if it's left or right, you gotta at least listen to their policies, not their identity. That's the thing. We gotta start looking more at policy. People who are going to go with policy, than whatever their identity is, wherever, even if they're left or right. Sometimes some people on the right have a policy that makes it's better than the person on the left, and I don't vote for them all the time, but I will say this: if they both, you gotta look at both parties and see, okay, who has the right interest here. Okay, let's see. Tax collector, maybe go for someone on the right wing, because let's see, he might try to at least give you a little extra, make sure you save a little few extra dollars. If it's someone on terms of electoral offices, I'm like, you might want to go for someone on the left. But someone, you gotta at least, I think it took the makeup off of politics. We gotta stop this whole idea of identity politics. It should be policy over party. That should be policy before party. Okay, and that's my opinion. Next, the whole Kanye West thing. Kanye West's voting. Let's say this. On my own opinion, there is, I don't know how many thousands voted for Kanye, but I will say this. To the majority of those first-time voters, all I'm going to say is, I think some of these first-time voters probably need to wait till they're 21 to vote. So let's just say this. Some of them I said we need to raise the age to vote to 21 now, because some of these kids might be fucking retarded. So, yeah. Let's say this. I don't know. I'm going to see who I'm on to vote. I want to determine like the age of voters, because I want to see that. Because I say there's a lot of ideas, and I say this: the ones that are 18 to 34, y'all motherfuckers need to go to the most northernmost part of fucking Alaska right now and live there for a month. No clothing, just no clothing, no heat, no place to live, warm place to live. Just y'all spending the next month or two in the frozen fucking cold, freezing to death. If some of y'all are over the age of 30, I say 18 to 34 year olds, 35 and older, some of y'all practically need to die. Some of y'all need to get huckeyed right now. Okay, y'all do not deserve to vote anymore. Okay, some of y'all voting rights need to be stripped away. So that's all I'm gonna say. Alright, we're gonna take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we're gonna at least talk about some sports, probably break away from this whole political stuff. Anyways, don't go anywhere, guys. You're watching episode number 17 of the J Money Talks podcast on Spotify and YouTube. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 17 of the J Money Talks podcast. We're just about to continue onward with our... Now, we're going to be talking about pretty much some sports right now. Some deportees. So we have a good weekend of some college. We have a good weekend of college football action. We're going to go into it. We're just going to speed run it real quick. We're going to speed run real quick to the big scores of what happened. Let's see here. Alright, what do we got here? In here. Let's see. I guess we'll talk about right now. A good chunk. Say this week we've had a good chunk of games get postponed / canceled. This week, big one is the Air Force versus Army game being postponed. Tulsa taking on Navy, postponed. Game that got canceled. Purdue versus Wisconsin, got canceled. The game that's got postponed was University of Texas San Antonio versus Rice, postponed. Charlotte going to Middle Tennessee, that game is postponed. Arizona versus Utah, canceled. Florida International versus UTEP, canceled. Louisiana Tech and North Texas, postponed. And Washington and Cal, canceled. Among those games, another game that big happened is the Corona has postponed the game between tonight, which was going to happen earlier tonight, between the University of Louisville Cardinals versus Virginia Cavaliers. Sadly, that game got postponed till next week, and that game will be taking place at 3:30 p.m. A good chunk of them was actually positive tests on the U of L sideline. So, let's just say Corona Chan decided to let everyone on the U of L football team catch it. Let's just say there was probably some merry-go-round that happened. Everyone on the team ended up getting a ride. I don't know who among them got it. So all I'm going to say is, even if you guys are honestly the U of L football players, listen, I don't care what y'all doing. Make sure y'all wearing the damn mask and keep your social distance. Okay, we don't want to see games postponed. We don't want to see games postponed, man. Come on. Use y'all common sense here. Alright, now the games that have actually happened. We gotta go into a big one. Into some interesting ones. Let's talk about, one of the big games of the week was Michigan versus Indiana. This one is a big one. This is actually a ranked one. This one's a ranked one, first time in a long time. And this time around, Indiana is the ranked team. Higher ranked team going in. 13th in the nation. And now it's taking on Michigan, who is now 23rd. And this one, Indiana ended up taking this game 38-21. 38-21. Directly on their sophomore QB, Michael Penix Jr. 30 out of 50 for 342 yards and 3 touchdowns in this ball game, and also on the shoulders of Stevie Scott III, junior running back out of Syracuse, New York, carrying the ball 24 times for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns of his own. This is for Indiana. I believe this is they're now 3-0. I think this is probably the first. Actually, this is the first time in a long time that Indiana is practically. I think this is the first time in a long time Indiana is now like 3-0 in a while, actually. another thing is that in this game, this is also a huge skid. First time in 33 years, Indiana has beaten the Wolverines. So this is a big one here, and this is actually a big one. So the one that was made was probably, it was also their fourth consecutive team win. Their next game is against Michigan State, and they are now, and this one will be a big one because Indiana in 2 weeks will set up a showdown between the East Division's only unbeaten teams, and that is against for number 3 rank, the Ohio State Buckeyes. So for Indiana, this is a big thing. I say this is a big. This one is actually very big for the Wolverines. They are now 1-2. They'll probably be out of the rankings for this week. In the upcoming rankings, Indiana is probably going to be moving on up a little bit. So the question is, how far? I am not exactly sure, but for a team like the Indiana, have this 3-0 record is pretty good for them. They're actually going to be, this game between Ohio State and Indiana is going to be possibly a top 10 matchup, because Ohio State is probably could be the number 1 team, but I think it could be. But I think the number 1 team will probably more than likely be Alabama, who is right now 6-0 this week. Will be 6-0 right now. They had a bye week. Speaking of Ohio State, they end up routing Rutgers 49-27. Oregon and starts off their big Pac-12 Pac-12 season with a 35-14 win over Stanford. Coastal Carolina is now a perfect 7-0. They're ranked 15th ranked. They end up beating South Alabama 23-6. 23-6 in SC Texas A&M with a big time beating over South Carolina 48-3. Iowa State survives over Baylor 38-31. Oklahoma giving the usual thrashing to a helpless Kansas Jayhawks 62-9. Cincinnati remains undefeated at 6-0 with a 38-10 win over Houston. Marshall wins it, is undefeated at 16th ranked. Marshall stays up 6-0, defeating UMass 51-10. 51-10. Iowa, a 49-7 victor over Michigan State. Sparty at 1-2. Northwestern is undefeated 3-0. Is an undefeated 3-0, beating Nebraska 21-13. Nebraska falls to 0-2. North Carolina and Duke. North Carolina wins it 56-24. North Carolina's 5-2. Duke at 2-6. And let's see, another top 25 news. Liberty in Virginia Tech ended up. Liberty coming in undefeated, ranked 25th in the nation, taking it to the into the last second. Virginia Tech has a chance of. Liberty had a chance to gain the win on a last second field goal, 51-yard field goal, but before what happens is a miracle happens where Virginia Tech blocks it. It gets picked up by Virginia Tech and they run it back into the end zone for a touchdown. Virginia Tech ends up being this undefeated Liberty team and moves on to 4-5-2. Except nope, the coach ended up icing the kicker and ended up deleting that touchdown. So Liberty ended up getting one more chance to get the game-winning field goal, and as a result, it ended up being good. Liberty, a 7, ends up being undefeated and spoils Virginia Tech in a big-time loss. Virginia Tech, Liberty won 38-35. Texas wins it in a barn burner, a close barn burner between West Virginia. The Longhorns go up 17-13. Texas now 5-2, ranked 22nd right now. SMU is now 7-1 after defeating Temple 47-23. 23. Now the big games. Now let's go to the next big 2 big games of the week. First we have Florida and Georgia in the world's largest cocktail party. Florida Gators end up with a game was close. It's close as Georgia was up 21-14 in the 12 minutes and 17 seconds left in the second quarter. Early in the second quarter, but in the next of the quarter, next 11 minutes and 38 seconds, all the Gators, because as Kyle Trask ended up throwing 3 touchdowns, one to Kyle Pitts for a 25-yard touchdown, one to Kenmore Gamble for 24 yards, and one to Trevon Gaines for 14 yards with 11 seconds left to put the Gators up 38-21 at the half. All the Gators had to do was get 2 field goals from courtesy of Evan McPherson, and it was all she wrote for the Gators as they took over and beat the Bulldogs in Jacksonville 44-28. 44-28. One of the big plays is that Georgia's defensive back for Georgia, a Lewis Sign, 6'1" sophomore out of Cedar Hill, Texas, end up getting ejected out of play as him and Kyle Pitts, a very talented junior tight end, 6'6" tight end from Philadelphia, end up colliding. Kyle Pitts would be able to walk out under his own power, but he was not able to come back into the game. Lincoln got ejected for a targeting call. But it didn't stop the Gators from chomping down on the Dogs. So, chomping down on the Dogs. Florida now is at 4-1, and Georgia is now 4-2. So 4-2. Now the big game of the week was between number 1 Clemson and number 4 Notre Dame. Game of the week. Trevor Lawrence was not able to play this game. He ended up getting capped with a COVID, and he was not going to be cleared to play because of a cardiac screening he has to take, and the results was not going to come in time for the game. So, enter freshman quarterback DJ Uiagalelei, and this one was a barn burner from start to finish, as Notre Dame jumped out early to a 10-0 lead in the first quarter with a 65-yard run by Kyron Williams, and a 24-yard field goal by Jonathan Dorr. But EJ Ukulele comes out and I was on a drive, and with 4 minutes 11 seconds in the first quarter, would at least cut the deficit to 3 as JJ Ukulele would find Cornell Powell from 53 yards and gets for a 53-yard pass, and the lead was now 10-7. Moving on to the second, both teams would change field goals and Notre Dame would be up 13-10. 13-10 now in the next 13-10 as Ukulele would try to find Travis Etienne for a simple handoff. He end up, let's say both, one of the two end up having a case of butterfingers and fumble on the play that got picked up by Jeremiah Olusu Koromoa for a 23 for a fumble return, 23 yards into the end zone for a touchdown. Notre Dame is up 20-10 at that point, and another field goal with a 45-yard field goal by Jonathan Dorr would bring it up 23-10. But B.T. Potter for Clemson would score on a 45-yard field goal to give it cut the lead to 10, moving into halftime. In the third quarter, Clemson would get the ball first and would in the first, would end up scoring. In the third quarter, it was all Clemson in order to cut this lead, would be able to tie the game. First on a 46-yard field goal by B.T. Potter with 12 minutes 15 seconds in the third, and then 4 minutes and 12 seconds in the third. Davis Allen would be found by DJ Ukulele for 10 yards out and would tie the game at 23 all. Next, we would go heading into the fourth. Heading into the fourth. Notre Dame would try at least answer back in for a score. They were getting close to first and goal, but they here we are. Yes, as Notre Dame would be at Clemson 7. Third and 1 at Clemson 7. Ian Book would run for 6 yards, and then right at the 1, he would ended up fumbling the football, and it got picked up by Balin Spector for Clemson, and Clemson would take over, and this game would stay tied. We head into the fourth quarter. And on the first drive of the fourth quarter, Notre Dame would drive down the field and would set up Jonathan Dorr for a 44-yard field goal. In the next drive, Clemson would answer back and they would drive down the field by themselves, and they would actually end up going and B.T. Potter would set up for a 30-yard field goal, and the game would be tied 26 all. Back and forth we go. On the next drive, Notre Dame would hardly get anything off, could not get a rhythm on offense. It would be a 3 and out, and it would send out, which would have to punt. Clemson would begin on Clemson's next drive. They would start driving up the field. A lot. On a 4th and 1 at the 35. It looks like Clemson would actually end up getting an offside penalty on Notre Dame as they would make them jump, and Clemson would move up, and this one would end up being slog. Let's say this. It was, let's say this was a 12-play, 74-yard drive. Let's go in through the big plays here. One of the big plays is DJ Ukulele would find Amari Rodgers for a 16-yard pass that would move Clemson for 48 to Notre Dame's 36-yard pass. And on a 2nd and 10 on a 36-yard penalty on 2nd and 10 at Notre Dame's 36, that DJ Ukulele would find Spector for a pass for Brand Spector, but one of the players, it would end up causing pass interference, which would be a 6-yard penalty. Penalty was assessed as a spot foul, which gave Clemson another fresh set of downs. On the very next play, Travis Etienne would run for 13 yards to Notre Dame 17 for a first down, set him up in the red zone. Next, DJ Ukulele would, 2 plays later, on a 2nd and 11 at Notre Dame's 18, DJ Ukulele passes to Cornell Powell for a 15-yard completion to Notre Dame's 3. And on the very next play, Travis Etienne would run it in for a score, 3 yards for a score, and Clemson, and that's how Clemson would take the lead. Would take the lead in this game. Notre Dame trying to answer back. Ian Book would find on a 1st and 10 at Notre Dame's 25. Ian Book would find Michael Mayer for a 13-yard completion for a first down, and then would find Avery Davis for 12 yards to move him into 50. And that is where Clemson would hold them back, as Ian Book pass complete would not be able to find anyone in this, could not move anywhere farther, and it would turn it over on downs. Notre Dame would begin trying to run out the clock, and luckily enough, Notre Dame would get them on a 3 and out, and they would punt. And with a minute and 41 seconds left, game on the line for Notre Dame. Notre Dame at Notre Dame's 9-yard line. Ian Book will find Javon McKinley for 10 yards for a first down. Next play, Ian Book will run 9 yards to Notre Dame's 21. 21. Next, Kyron Williams would run for a 15-yard gain to Notre Dame's 33 for a first down. On the very next play, Ian Book would find a bomb to Avery Davis for a 50-yard 3-yard completion, and to the Clemson's 4 on the very next play. 1st and 10 with a minute left at 30 seconds. 1st and goal. We'll say it's 3 plays later. Ian Book would find Avery Davis would find Avery Davis again. This time from 4 yards out for a touchdown, and we would have a tied game. We end up having bonus football, and we would have bonus football overtime. Clemson would get the ball first, and DJ Ukulele would score early in 2 plays, as DJ Ukulele would find Cornell Powell for 24 yards to Notre Dame's 1, and DJ Ukulele would decide to go on speed dial, call his own number, and he would run it in for a 1-yard touchdown. Clemson would have a lead in overtime. On Notre Dame's possession, they would go to Kyron Williams will run 2 yards to 23 on the very next play. Ian Book would find Michael Mayer for 15 yards to the Clemson 8-yard line for a first down. 1st and goal, Ian Book would find Javon McKinley for 5 yards to the Clemson's 3-yard line, and on the very next play, Kyron Williams would run for 3 yards out to a touchdown, and we would go to double overtime. This time Notre Dame would get the ball first. First, there's 2 plays. On the first 2 plays, Kyron Williams would would run for a loss of 1, and on the very next play, Ian Book would run, get that yard back, but Notre Dame would have offensive folding, and next they would be moved to the it would move to for holding on 2nd and 20 at the Clemson's 35-yard line. Clemson would get a penalty, end up getting a random penalty for personal foul. They didn't explain who got it or how it happened, but it would cost Clemson 15 yards. It would move them to the 20, and Notre Dame would have a fresh set of downs. And on the next play after the penalty, after a personal foul penalty, Kyron Williams would run for a loss of 5. But on the next play, Ian Book says, "Don't worry, I got this," and would run it down, run it for 12 yards. Clemson's 13. On 3rd and 3 at Clemson's 13, Ian Book would find Ben Skowronek for 10 yards out to the Clemson 3 for a first down. On 2 plays later, Kyron Williams would run it in for 3 yards for a touchdown, and it would give Notre Dame the lead 47-40. Clemson now tries to respond. And this is where Notre Dame's defense came to play. On 1st and 10, DJ Ukulele would get stacked by Atakumbo Ugandaji. I might have said it wrong. And Jeremiah Usa-Komara for a 9-yard loss to Notre Dame's 34. Now it is 2nd and 19 for Notre Dame. On the very next play, DJ Ukulele would get sacked again by Ugandeji for a 5-yard loss, and it would move him to the 39. 3rd and 24. Ukulele would go back to pass again. He would try to find his man Davis Aller, but he gets broken up by Sean Crawford. Last chance for the Tigers in order to keep the perfect record and their number 1 ranking. DJ Ukulele would goes back to pass, would find Brandon Galloway for a 13-yard completion, but Galloway fumbles on the play and gets recovered by Notre Dame's Nick McCloud, and it is game right there. Clemson is undefeated no more. Notre Dame, in their first and probably only season in the ACC, is now at the top with a 7-0 record. They defeat Clemson. Clemson would lose for the first time at home since 2017 in a regular season. First regular season loss since 2017, I believe. This is basically 3 seasons. This is a large set of teams, and there are a lot of teams that could have been mean, especially my Louisville Cardinals. I'm just grabbing my charger, plug this phone in. Big game for Notre Dame. This is I believe, their first time being number 1 ranked team since 1993. Let's just say it looks like the Irish might be back. It looks like the Irish might be back. So we are about to see the return of Notre Dame fans of old are starting to reemerge. As a result, and as you can tell, just like today, COVID probably doesn't exist no more because Notre Dame would rush the field, and it was a madhouse. Notre Dame is now undefeated and will they be the number 1 team? That is a question. That is a big question. I believe the next number 1 would be Alabama, who pretty much was idle, but I think they might, who knows, now because of this win, Notre Dame played against the number 1 team and actually beat them outright. So there might be a thing where Notre Dame might have a say now about this thing. this college football playoff now has a bigger chance. Now, Clemson does have a chance to get back because they are probably, I believe, still the number 2 team. They can bounce back against Notre Dame, but I think this time around they would have their quarterback Trevor Lawrence this time around in this game. But this is a big victory for Notre Dame in this one. It is a big college football game. Big day for college football. Now we get into, let's move on to real quickly into the NFL football. A lot of good games here. We got some okay games in the NFL. Big one I guess we got to talk about is, the big thing I got to talk about is, my Ravens. Is pretty much the Ravens. Is Baltimore Ravens. One big thing is today, Dez Bryant is about to make a comeback. A comeback because my Ravens decided to elevate him off the practice squad. It is going to be to the part of the active roster. And is expected to play today's game against the Indianapolis Colts. Bryant has not been in this league, has not been able to play on the. This is the first time since 2017 that Dez Bryant is going to be playing, and this is the first. And this is an addition to the time because in the roster is Devin Duvernay, rookie wide receiver out of Texas, who is the team's number 3 wide receiver last Sunday. He is on the injury report. He is limited with a thigh injury, had limited participation in practice with a thigh injury, and is now considered questionable for the game. Chris Moore would end up being placed on the injury reserve this Saturday for a thigh injury himself. And Bryant is one of the 5 healthy wide receivers on the roster. He will be joining Marquise Brown, Miles Boykin, Willie Snead, and James Peroche. And this one is a big one. I think this will be great because it is one of those players that we finally get to have, that we can actually do a good amount of route running. And Lamar Jackson on Wednesday would praise Dez Bryant for his great route running and his hands, which is a big thing. This provides a great amount of experience. Who right now in terms of wide receiver groups, is right now ranked last in the NFL in catches and receiving yards through the first 8 weeks. In the first 8 seasons, Dez Bryant was a top playmaker for the Cowboys, totaling 747,459 yards and a franchise record of 73 touchdown catches. So this is a good thing to have. It is something this is a player that is needed for the Ravens, especially the offense is something that is needed, especially in regards of how this defense has been, especially of the news about the defense. It's been off the defense, but luckily enough, earlier on Monday, Marlon Humphrey would be the guy who would get affected who would get taken, who would actually be one of the big things is Marlon Humphrey would get tested positive for COVID on Monday. Linebackers Patrick Queen, LJ Fort, Malik Harrison, Tyus Bowser. Linebackers Patrick Queen, LJ Fort, Malik Harrison, and Tyus Bowser. Safety Deshaun Elliott and cornerback Terrell Bonds were a part of the entirety of the tackler. Would be a big part of the would be a big name player who ended up being on the reserve list. Luckily enough, throughout the week. They ended up passing testing and would be removed from that list. And a big thing is now, because the good thing is LJ Ford, who is one of the biggest tacklers, would be playing without two of our top 5 tacklers in this game, and our team, LJ Ford would be sent to the injury list with a finger injury and was ruled out of his game. The 5 players that weren't able to play Queen, Harrison, Bowser, Elliott, and Bonds, they were able to participate in Saturday's walkthrough after not practicing all week and are going to be traveling with a team. It is, Ravens coach John Harbaugh said, it's not the perfect thing. You always want everybody to practice. The guys who weren't out there practicing were doing all the things they could do to prepare. You trust that, and you go play the game and do the best you can. So I feel very confident with that. Big thing is Jimmy Smith, who's right now questionable with a back injury, is possibly going to be the guy who's going to be filling in for Marlon Humphrey. And Malik Harrison, a rookie third-round pick, is going to be replacing Fort in that game. A good thing is outside linebacker Matthew Judon was removed from that list on Friday after he was being deemed a close contact to Humphrey at the time. He ended up being he was in the sidelines. He was on the practice field on full capacity on both Thursday and Friday. So now the big question is, what's my thoughts about this game against the Colts? This is a crucial. I do know this is a good crucial game. Crucial game for the Ravens, especially they are 5-2. They are right now the 5th seed. Currently at this moment, the 5th seed in the conference. 5th seed in the conference standings. If the playoffs ended today, they would be facing off against the Tennessee Titans, who is 5-2 in Nashville. And right now, it is a big game. That is a game that is important. Right now, Baltimore still has a chance in possibly catching up to the Steelers, as one, they have a chance of bouncing back and winning over beating the Steelers in Heinz Field on Thanksgiving night, and probably another loss or two, and possible Steelers loss or two would give them a chance of bouncing back. The Ravens would have to win this game. Next 3 games after this is the Patriots, 2-5 Patriots, the Titans in the rematch from the divisional round last season, and the rematch between the Steelers at Heinz Field on Thanksgiving night. The big stories are going into this game is hopefully Braves will be back at full capacity, and hopefully I'm hoping there's no more COVID tests. I'm hoping there's no more possible tests, and that's my hope going forward to this, is there won't be any more after this. Luckily enough, the Ravens, the next 3 games, 2 out of 3 is probably the toughest part of the schedule. Outside of the Browns, the next 5 games after the Steelers game is against the 2-6 Cowboys, the 1-6 Jaguars, the 1-7 Giants, and the 2-5-1 Cincinnati Bengals. And that is those games are of course winnable. You can't doubt all the players. Some of them are not going to be giving games, especially I definitely know, even if it's the Patriots, let's be honest, even though they're not doing the best right now, they are still a team you don't want to sleep on. So, Ravens, some of these games are all important. I have faith in my team. I'm just hoping hopefully I think the experience of Bryant on the field and making catches is going to be something interesting. I think this would help out with this defense a lot. I'm really interested in trying this. The big question is, can the Ravens run the football? Now, can the Ravens run with the football? One of the big things is that the Colts have the second best rush defense in the league right now. And that is going to be tough. Now, Dobbins did run for a career high 113 yards on Sunday against the Steelers, who at the time was the top ranked defense. One of the big things in this game is a big history lesson, and that is the Ravens have never beaten the Colts, though. This is something that you never know. In the history of the Colts and Ravens since 1996, the Ravens have won games in Baltimore, but have never gotten a W against the Colts in Indy. So that is, take that for account, if you will. So this is an interesting game. I say this is going to be a closer one. I say it's going to be 27-23 Ravens. This one, it was a pick'em, so I say it's going to be Ravens 27-23 into this one. Alright, other big games, notable games is at 1 o'clock. Seahawks go head to Buffalo, take on the Bills. The Bears would travel to Nashville to take on the Tennessee Titans. Take on the Titans. Chiefs are hosting the Carolina Panthers. And the Panthers, we would have next again. Let's see, next big game. The Saints and Buccaneers square off on Sunday night. Tom Brady and Drew Brees go at it in round 2. This time at Tampa Bay, or should I say Tampa Bay. Down Tampa Bay. Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa and Kyler Murray are squaring off against each other. Against each other at 4:25. And then we got the 7-0 Steelers take on the 2-6 Cowboys. Cowboys at 4:25 as well. And then we have the event on Monday night. We have the Patriots go up against the 0-8 Jets. Next we have Broncos going to Atlanta, take on the Falcons. We have the Lions and Vikings in the AFC North and an NFC North showdown. Giants take on Washington. Texans take on the Jaguars. Both teams 1-6. So this one is the battle of the basement. Raiders versus Chargers. They take on the Chargers. Packers last night would go in and take care of the San Francisco 49ers. Sadly depleted San Francisco 49ers team. 34-17. And right now, Green Bay is currently 6-2 and with the division, and is right now as of this moment is currently the third ranked team in the league, currently seated third in the conference. And if the season ended, they would face off against the Arizona Cardinals. Seattle would have a first round bye. Tampa Bay would go up against the LA Rams, a very good competitive LA Rams team. And then we have the Philadelphia Eagles, taking on the Saints, and somehow because it's a division winner, and I don't know how, just because you're a division winner, you somehow host a playoff game in Philly. If this happened, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, Philly should not host that goddamn game. I don't care what anyone's saying. Philly should not host a damn divisional game, a damn home playoff game. They don't deserve that. If whoever wins the NFC East don't get no playoff win, we gotta talk that. Yeah, something I personally don't think should happen. So, moving on. Let's move on. So, yeah, what is a big thing? Next in Next, NBA will be back on December the 22nd. This is a 74-day layoff. This is the shortest like layoff in between games. In between games, I believe it is. That is a big thing. The big thing is going to be is LA. How will this affect LeBron and his tiredness? A big thing is who. I guess one of the big things is early on who will be drafted by the. Is going to be who will be drafted on. Who will be drafted. A big thing is that this is a. Now this one is actually a 72 game season. A 72 game season. One of the big things is they're going to be opening free agency very shortly, and then they're going to have the NBA draft in short work. Big thing is going to be the main plan is also to try to finish the NBA schedule before the Summer Olympics begins in next July. This one is, I believe, a 70. I say, playoff is, I believe, 70. Is at least 74 days. Is the shortest of left among major sports leagues in the United States. NHL has had a short one in I believe 101 days. One season. I believe 101. So this is this one will be the shortest by a large margin, by a significant margin, by almost a month. So what now with what are my thoughts about that short layoff? Is it's going to hinder a lot of players? It's an interesting thing. I don't know much about the idea about LeBron James and his home management thing. I think the 72 games is going to be unique. There's going to be Christmas games. The question is, will there be fans there? That is a very good question. I'm interested in knowing that myself. But for now, I feel like there will not be as many fans. I think there won't be as many fans. But I think there won't be as many fans at these games, but I think they'll have some barriers and a few other things. So there's a lot of factors into this. But for now, I say the whole thing I believe the whole thing is right now that the NBA is going to be a big thing. A big thing is about the Raptors finding a home here for temporary home in the United States, because traveling from Canada to U.S. is kind of just sketchy. One of the big sites was Louisville, but the Raptors players have opted not to play in Louisville because of the whole handling of the Breonna Taylor investigation, and now Nashville has decided to step in by introducing Bridgestone Arena, which is the home of the Nashville Predators in the NHL, and will be played. That is a possible spot for the Toronto Raptors will be playing in, and that is a big thing. I don't have much to say about that. But yeah, I think this is a shortened schedule is going to be interesting to see. I think the big thing is I'm hoping they bring back the bubble. The bubble playoff bubble was amazing. I think it was I think it brought a much more competitive side to it. I say if they're going to, I don't know how they're going to go about the playing stuff. I say they're probably going to do a division window or something. I say they're going to try to keep it some games within the division. I think within the radius, at least within, I guess, play against the teams in say a 500-mile radius. Try to cut down on traveling, and Yeah, I think that's might be what happened. I believe it's but I think they're gonna be looking into it as the season, as they're going into this off season, this very short off season, and in terms of the draft, free agency, and a few other things. Yeah, I'll probably discuss it a bit later on as time goes by. All right, let's. We've probably gone through a good amount of stuff. A good amount of stuff. I think we've gone through a good amount. I was going to talk about a few other things. What was one thing I was going to talk about? Well, I could talk about some stuff I have plans for. One big thing I'm planning on doing, and this is something I've thought of doing for a while, is probably my personal. I wanted to work on this for a while. Is a kind of a webcomic series, like kind of like a comic graphic novel series. Like, this is something I've pretty much had planned on wanting to do for quite a while, and this has been in my mind for years. I've done some bits and pieces of it. I've done I did a good baseline thing for a project back in my senior high school, and a few other things. If you were with me back in school, if you knew me as when I was younger, you probably heard me say once or twice Meteor Boy. And that is a character. Meteor Boy, if you want to know, I'll give you guys at least a small synopsis. Meteor Boy is it talks about the story of Mason, who is the prince of the sun. And meteors is practically a group of soldiers, pretty much a militia group. I won't say militia group, but a army of soldiers who pretty much would help settle, pretty much think of I guess you could say Space Interpol. I guess you could say Space Interpol. But Space Interpol also deals with a lot of combat stuff and a lot of other things. A big thing is the factor is traveling across planets and handling there's a lot of yeah, I know what you're thinking. There's a lot of stuff I'm really working out the details on. One of the big things is big enemies are pretty much just very I guess we could say a fascist group, it's called similar to Nazis, but we're not gonna call them Nazis. Let's just say some symbolism will probably be kind of Nazi-ish looking. So yeah, there's a lot of stories. I plan on at least making at least the combat good, and at least choreography and some of the stuff. Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's gonna be a good story because this is something I've been working with for probably quite a while, and I'm going to be working on it practically. This is something I'm going to talk about doing. I'm pretty much going to be working on it when I have free time, and I'm pretty much free time, and I'm going to be typing and making the project work for quite a while. And it's I'll lead you guys in on more details. I'm going to be trying to at least do artwork and stuff. I will say this: if you are someone who is interested in doing help make the character artwork and make this character look pretty good, if you are interested in doing something like that, and I kind of want to try at least do some local artists. If you're a local artist and you want to work on helping with character artwork, let me know, please. Let me know. At least comment down in the comment section here on this video or on SoundCloud, or you can DM me on my social media, either on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we can at least discuss commissions and everything, and we can work something out. And If it sounds good, we can we'll pay you for I can pay you for commission, and we can just get the ball rolling there. I'll probably talk to somebody who can help out with. I already my friends. I ended up running this by my friends at a party at the party Friday night before before we ended up getting hammered, so getting smashed. So yeah, Friday is gonna be. We're all gonna be talking about this, and I'll have a conversation about this. So, without further ado, that is a big plan. Next thing is I have a lot of goals now I'm 24. I'm planning on having a lot of goals for this upcoming year, and I'm on them. At least getting myself into best physical shape. Best physical shape. At least conquer a good chunk of life goals in terms of getting my driver's license finally. I know what you're thinking. You're 24 and you haven't got your driver's license. I'll say this here: my parents wanted me to focus on school. I finished high school and didn't have time to get it during the summer. Number two, I was spending time in college. Never got a chance to work around on it. Maybe find some time to actually look at materials to study. There, as soon as I got out of Western, got my permit, tried practicing driving with family twice. First time was okay. Second time, I ended up barely scratching this lady's car, and it was in a church parking lot, and it was a thing. So my dad's like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to work on paying for driving school." Let's just say anytime I tried saving money, let's just say we've pretty much discussed it in the earlier episodes of the podcast. I had a phase, and yeah, I got out of that phase later on, and let's say a lot of stuff has prevented me from pursuing getting this driver's license. Now this time around, I'm like, I gotta fucking get this bitch. So I'm getting this thing. I need to learn how to drive myself, because let's be honest, I want to at least try to get on the gym. I'm trying to at least get to the gym on time and get done at a certain time, just so that way I can at least, my thing is get to the gym at a certain time, get out at a certain time, and get everything done at a certain time, and be able to go to work and not feel like I am running myself ragged. So yeah, so that's a big thing. So get my driver's license, get a car. I say pretty soon. This here in the background is not going to be the same background, because I'll pretty much plan on moving to my own apartment, and instead of having my actual bedroom as the current studio, I'm kind of going to try to at least have a room, get a 2-bedroom apartment, and one room is going to be its own studio, one part studio, one part mini gym, one part streaming center, and yeah, that's what the plan is there. And that's another big thing. And next, get a car. Of course, get a car. One thing for me is probably finally you know what? Finally end this single boy shit. Let's just say, probably gonna try at least put myself out there and at least try at least set myself up, find a relationship with a nice girl, and pretty much anyone, and at least get that out of my head, out of the way. And yeah, I think that's those are some goals I have. There's some goals I'm still gonna try to achieve. I got a couple things I'll probably talk about tomorrow, probably on my Instagram and Facebook, probably. Just give people that rundown, and I mention it on the Twitter. So yeah, that's the game plan for me. That is my game plan there. So, I think that's about it. I think we're almost done. We got it done within an hour and a half. So, we actually got good. So, this is a pretty good episode. So, thank you guys very much for watching the J Money Talks podcast, episode number 17. We have let's say this, it was pretty good. If you guys have any birthday wishes, like belated birthday wishes, leave it in the comments section. I will gladly like it and appreciate the birthday wishes. Be sure to give a like to this video, a good thumbs up on the video, on the video, or leave a like on the SoundCloud if you're watching this, listening to it on SoundCloud. Hit that heart button, repost this to feed, give more people get this bad boy some exposure. Try at least build some fans on there. If shares all around social media. Leave it in the comment section if there's anything you want to talk about in the future. I would definitely appreciate it. And if you got any topic I should discuss, I'll leave it in the comments. I'll probably try to put that under some advisement. And let's see, don't forget subscribing, following. Also, if you're on SoundCloud, hit a follow, and also make sure you hit probably notification bell, so that way when the next episode drops, you're able to get that bad boy. And of course, on YouTube, of course, subscribe and hit on the notification bell, so that way you get to the episode as soon as it comes out. Anyways, once again, I want to say thank you guys very much for watching this video. Don't forget to stay positive and of course have a good day. My mindset in this mom mentality for me is moving forward is simple: drinking your water, clean your face, steal a girl's soul by eating the shit out of her pussy, and minding your damn business. See you guys. See you, y'all. Take care, y'all. Peace.